Hey, alright, I'm going to talk about patch 13.20 and the impact that this patch had on jungle, which is probably the biggest patch for jungle that we've had in a while, ever since I think early season, where jungle was basically a 3 camp gank machine, where that's all you would do and you couldn't invade. So lots of changes, lots of win rate changes, meta has shifted for jungle champs more towards tanks being stronger. So I'm going to talk about that. We'll get into it, and I'll show you win rates and what I think is going to dispatch. I'll also talk about the other stuff, but mostly emphasizing on jungle. So I mean, this is useless. Nice nerfs to Akshan because this champ is a bit like strong in my opinion. Good build at nerfs. This champ was just I think the strongest jungle on the patch for a few patches. Um, I think these changes are pretty good. I think this will make her scale less in a way where oh, sorry, it's on multiplier instead. But her E, this is like whatever, I think. But her E nerf is like pretty big. Because now you kind of want to max E, in my opinion. Like this was something I was trying, where instead of Q max, you max E. That's what Alice was saying. Because right now, 42% from 70 is fucking huge. I would try to play with Emax because I think on level 9 when you get it max it's pretty good. Q is like kind of whatever. It also scales better with crit. It can crit now. So getting Kraken Slayer is pretty good on her now. It makes you want to build Kraken Slayer instead of just going Starbreaker. I think there's a few builds that we could be seeing on this patch for Belvet. It could either be Kraken into Starbreaker again, or Kraken into Shieldbow, into maybe like a Jack Show, or maybe an Even Shroud or Virtue, anything like tanky, you know, to scale with the crit, to have some bonus resistances, and not get one shot. Also nerfed the minimum physical damage, but they buffed the on-it damage. So again, this is on-it buffs, but overall a nerf to Qmax. This is a pretty good nerf as well. You get a lot of max health from the R when you use it. And the move speed was also P25 is a lot. That's like Relentless Hunter basically fully stacked almost. Compared to 10, which is not much now. But it's good. It's going to slow her down. The thing is about this patch is that AD junglers got worse. So despite these nerfs, it's also... It'll double like down basically with the changes that they nerfed to AD junglers. So this is like kind of harder, like patch there for her. Her win rate has gone down, but I think she's still playable. Galio buffs was needed. I mean, shield out of combat and the cooldown is down. Help him play a bit more. Jinx is broken on this patch. More health. This, like, stacks, which is crazy. I saw a video on X/Twitter where the Jinx had 30% attack speed per second. So this champ is pretty strong right now. Very dangerous on this patch. They also nerfed the cooldown on their ult by 5. And the minimum damage seemed to have gone up by a bit. It also scales better. Execute is the same. The maximum damage higher as well. More bonus AD. Pretty strong champ. Honestly, Cassandra did too many changes. I haven't seen him almost at all. So I don't know what to say about this. Because this could either be good or really bad. I don't want to say because I don't know for sure. We could probably search Cassandra win rate and then see how his win rate is. I don't think it's very high because people need to understand how he works now. So he's not very good right now. But he might shift in a while. So we'll talk about it later. Armor Nurse Kaisa, weaker early game. Milio buffs. It's pretty good. She can have, you can build Camp Pack on her and have reduced healing now, which is really big, honestly, for supports because you can't really do that much. So, decent buffs. Morgana, jungle buffs. This is up by 10. It's pretty good. Some more AP ratios is not bad. Cooldown is a bit higher on her Black Shield, but again, it's just, you know, you're not going to use it much anyways. More damage and more stun, which is pretty big. Like, Morgana has some decent jungle matchups right now. Because she can do, like, she can deny a lot of the champs that are meta right now a lot of what they want to do. Because, like, if you're going to look at the win rate on jungle in this patch, it's a lot of AP junglers mostly, right? Except Briar. And, you know, like into Fiddle, she can preemptively spell Shield his Fear. Rammus, she can counter his Taunt. She can counter Ivern's Q. And Daisy knockups, Zax, you know, jumps and CCs. She counters a lot of the AP junglers in a way, right? Where she can be flexed, I think, but she's mostly good into jungler right now, I would say. You could still play her. She wouldn't be S tier, but she's for sure playable, you know. Good, like Quinn nerfs her lane. She was too annoying to deal with. Zed nerfs his W. It's up by 3 late game, which is good. This is an interesting Q buff on his explosion hitbox. I think this champ was already obnoxious to play against, but sure. He's going to be definitely better now. This is a good buff for Blink Jewel because this item component is like really bad compared to Last Whispers, so they had to feel like that they need to buff this by 150, which is good. I think it's fair. More Duskblade nerfs. Now, the abilities going down on this is also annoying, and again they're nerfing the damage amplification. So this is like worse. This is like so situational. You need to build this when you actually want to get a reset and become stealth. Like otherwise, like I don't feel like you just want to build this over Ghostblade on this patch, because like look at Ghostblade, they buffed the lethality up by 4 minimum and 6 max, so that's the buff. It's definitely good on a lot of AD junglers, although they nerfed it. I think Graves is the biggest winner on this patch with this, especially with the changes that I'll get into right now. But yeah, I think you should go Ghostblade most games over Duskblade. LDR's buff, I mean, damage jump is a bit higher now because it will take into account like the application during shields, right? So yeah, moving it pre-mitigation. Yeah, it's a power increase, so they're nerfing it by a bit to not make it OP, because now you see it used to be physical magic damage, it gets targets to more maximum health. Now it's with more than the user, but it'll apply before shields and lifesteal, so that's a buff. Alright, I'll get into the big changes here. I'll make it quick because there's a lot, and I know there's a lot to read. So now Smite almost does no damage onto champions or pets, it just does 40, so don't expect that to be an execute unless you're running like Dark Harvest to proc with it. So this is a nice change. So if you're in a big fight, right here, there's a Baron fight, right, and your both junglers are in the pit, then basically you can move your cursor away from like the smite area, right? Here, like let's say you smite and you aim here and there's no character here. Right, then you'll just focus the Baron. Even though if there's no champions here and you move your cursor a bit away and you're standing here, you could smite and it'll focus the Baron. So that's like really good if like there's like a champion with a huge hitbox, like a Cho'Gath in the pit, and you can't really target Nash. So this is really good. And they changed the damage type from this being a spell, it's a proc, and meaning smite won't trigger spell effects like demonic embrace. You know, like that's like also a nerf because you used to just use it and it would be like a spell, right? Which would be demonic, Leandries, anything that's AoE, like on it, like over time, right? So yeah, primal smite AoE damage would swing monsters from 50 to 100. Meaning this is better for late game when you want to smite AoE camps like Krogs or Raptors. So just make like one shot the camp. This is good for clearing later on, sure. But they had to like make it a bit better because of all these nerfs, right? This is a big nerf as well. Junglers with Primal Smite no longer take 20% less damage. So basically, if you're doing Baron with 2 other teammates, you can tank Baron a lot longer, meaning that you can be in the pit and do it easier, right? But now this is not the case. So if you're a squishy champion, you're just going to take normal damage from Baron, which sucks, because usually you want to be in the pit as a jungler. So keep that in mind about over-tanking. They nerfed Blue Smite. From 45 bonus movement speed from Decaying, it's now going to be, and then from, 45, and then when you kill a large monster, it's to 60% for 2. Now it's 30 instead of 45, and after you kill a camp, it's 45 instead of 60. Still good, not as OP, but compared to the other smites, I think it's the most consistent and best one. Because this one, like, look, the green smite right now is just basically a shield, 180 to 300. This is only good against anti-dive comps, where you want an extra shield maybe, or you're in a bad matchup and you want extra shield to have, like, extra HP to survive. But it doesn't do anything. The main reason I would go Green Smite was for the slow and tenacity resist that I would get. That it would be really good because then you don't, if you need tab eyes or steel caps in a game because they have 380 threats, then you can go Green Smite and you could go Tenacity and Runes if you're going Conk, for example, Conqueror, right? And that would help. But now, I mean, if they would have CC as well, right? But if they don't have CC, you could just go Attack Speed or Blue Smite. But they kind of removed this, so now it's just a shield, which I think makes it really useless in my opinion. You see, this is just gone. And then Red Smite, it's attacks and spells. So yeah, if you smite, you won't trigger Red Smite anymore. And so that's also a nerf. You gotta hit something, It's still small, but I mean, Red Smite was already the weaker one out of the 3. And then they kind of kill Green Smite in my opinion. So I think Blue Smite is the winner on these 3 if you need to choose. These are kind of irrelevant. For early game. So how it works is first clear is the same, second and third clear is a bit slower, but later on the camps are going to become more tankier and it's going to take you a bit more time to kill, especially on some champs that don't have good ratios to clear. So it'll bring down the CS per minute in jungle, I think, by around 1, later on in the games, because the camps are just way tankier, like by a lot, especially buffs. Like you'll see, the buffs are the biggest ones. You know, this is like 600, 300, 175, like etc. But the buffs 1.2k. So yeah. Rift, a bit tankier later on, scales, but it'll give you more gold and it'll give you more XP, which is nice. So now scuttlers are pretty important to contest, because if you're going to fall behind on XP now in this patch, which you will later on in the game unless you hard snowball, then scuttlers are really important to take. Krug experience adjustments. A bit more on the small ones. They buffed Krug by a bit, but it's like almost nothing. Right? I mean, it's only later on, level 9, you'll get like 1 XP more. It's like almost non-irrelevant, to be fair. Yeah, and then they just buffed the damage that you're going to take from camps as well. Right? Swing, trying to defend the degree the junglers can fully heal. So like, and also healing is nerfed by a lot, because you just heal based off missing health or max health now. Let's just see. Yeah, it's missing health and missing mana. Yeah, so like you need to be low to heal a lot from camps now. When it used to just be based on missing health like a bit more, now it's just way weaker instead of bonus and. Jungle companion scaling, like this is the biggest change on what made the win rates like completely shift in this patch, right? So the change from the pet, they removed the 80 bonus ratio completely from jungle pet, which is huge. Like any 80 jungler just lost extra damage on the pet. They kept the AP, but they nerfed it by 2%. But they buffed bonus armor and bonus MR by 10%. Right? So every 80 jungler lost on this patch. Like, look, only Briar, because she's a bit like hit or miss, right? But like everything here is just AP. And then you still have Jarvan, which is good, Nocturne, which is good, and solo queue. You know, but most of them are just AP. Like, look at Rammus, Fiddle, Ivern, Zac, Briar, you know, everything has changed. Graves is still good, I think, on this patch, even though, like, he's here. Like, on rank it says 1, but whatever, his win rate is still good. Ghostblade got buffed. They buffed LDR. And his E gives him bonus armor. So when you're clearing camps, the pet damage goes up by a bit. So his first clear is a bit better right now. And later on, you'll have, if you keep up your grit, you'll do more damage to camps through the, you know, the pet. So Graves is a winner on this patch, but he's not that good into AP junglers, but he is good into tanks when he gets to scale. But this is why the win rate is shifted. The heal is also down. It's kept. So they completely changed this. But they did have an anti-poaching thing for laners, so now laners can't really steal their camps because you do bonus damage to camps. That's why it's more tankier, like the camps. So they have more MR and armor, and you know, you do more damage. So this is just for laners not to steal their camps, which is good. This is also a big nerf because you used to, after level 14, be able to farm lane and not have a penalty on XP. But now, look, the penalty is from 1.1 levels behind the game, 1.5. This is a penalty when you're behind on XP, right? Planning some changes to incentivize junglers from poaching lane minions, rubbing the catch-up experience. Yeah, so this is nerfed. The XP received from 0 to 14 from 40 to 75. It's only 30. It starts at 30%, so it's even nerfed early. But only at minutes 20 it'll start going up. Like it'll be at 100% again. But they nerfed it for the game, so you'll have less like. You can't really like split push and farm and have like you gain a lot of XP now, only until 20 minutes. But 20 minutes is where you can't really side anymore unless you're on Baron's side, because then enemy team could just start Baron if you're on the other side of the map. This is interesting for AD junglers though, because Doran's items got buffed this patch. This is really good if you're in a bad matchup, like to buy after like 3 camps or something. If you buy no potion, because 10 AD and 100 health for 450 is worth the stats by a lot. And if you're in a bad matchup, let's say you're playing Graves and you're into Kha'Zix, then if you buy Doran's Blade, it gives you an edge in early game not to completely get dismantled in that matchup if you're both even. So this is really good in bad matchups, I would say. Otherwise, you're just delaying your Mythic, which is not the best on AD junglers. But I think there's some exceptions when there's like snowbally champs who want to just one-shot you, like Rengar, Kha'Zix, maybe Evelynn. Although, you know, I don't think it's like... It depends what you're playing and what state you are in the game, but that's for sure changed. Buff to support items a bit, which is whatever. Water walking nerf, which kind of sucks, because this was underrated for junglers, you know, because think about it like this. It looks like a bad rune, but it's really not, because you'd always gain 25 move speed in river. So think about like this: if you're roaming in a river, taking a scutter crab, contesting a dragon or a baron, you have more move speed and you have more AD for the fight. Now they nerfed this, so from 25 to 10, that's like a big nerf. It's still playable if you're going sorcery tree, right? But they buffed adaptive force in early game, which makes it a bit stronger in terms of fighting. But when you're chasing or moving, you're slower. But it's just niche. Like it's only if you need to go sorcery tree or you have no other options. Although I think always if you're going like inspiration, sorry, you're not going inspiration. You're going the fleet footwork tree or conqueror tree, or whatever, right? Precision, then you can go like free boots and maybe futures market or cosmic insight instead. I don't know. This is like really weird unless you're taking sorcery like first, in my opinion. They nerfed overall drakes, but they buffed souls. This is a TLDR. Everything got nerfed, right? But they only buffed the souls. So you see, the Cloud Drake, bonus move speed is up by 5, X-Drake Drake up by 5, the slow damage on Infernal Drake's up by 20, Mountain Drake shield is up by 40, Caution heal is up, and mana is up. So they nerfed the drakes themselves, but they made the soul really strong. So giving soul is even worse than before, but the drakes bonus themselves are worth less gold. So you basically, if you lose a drake, you don't lose gold, hidden gold in stats as much, but soul is really hard to play against now. They nerfed Herald by 100, which is a lot. That's not a bit at all. Main power spec for junglers, I think, on this patch was getting Herald and maybe getting the Crash and getting a fast mythic to, you know, play a second Drake and start snowballing from there. But it seems like they nerfed that, so I feel like giving Herald is not as bad now, unless you have like a good plan to take a lot of plates with it, because not only did they nerf this, they also nerfed plate golding this patch. So it's like double the nerf, you know? Baron is way tankier now, so this is something people forget. They think on this patch after you get a killer 2 you can just start Baron and do it, but Baron is pretty tanky now, so you can't exactly do it for free. Because they also nerfed, you know, death timers, like, after level 9. This is irrelevant, I'm trolling. But it's not as easy to do Baron now, because it's just tankier. So you need to do it if enemies are kind of dead, and you have good, you know, HP. Because don't forget, you also don't have 20% reduced damage from Baron now, so you need people to be alive and you need enemies to be dead to take it. This is an interesting nerf because this makes Drakes harder to take after a play because death timers are way lower, right? So it's harder to punish. 4 seconds at level 4. So imagine you do a gank on full clear gank on bot, right? And you kill. If you can't really do an invade or anything like that or stay too long on the map or do something crazy, because if you kill, like, let's say their support and instead of 12 seconds death timer, this guy's on an 8-second death timer, you know, or whatever, and he gets to roam and counter what you want to do a second time. So let's say you get a gank at level 6, you kill them, you have after that kill to push in 12 seconds to go do Drake before they come and maybe collapse on you. So everything needs to be really calculated now, and tempo is much shorter. So the more you play, you're going to feel it, because you're going to see people are alive and you're going to feel their presence. You're going to get used to dispatch, but this is just a bit harder to do too many plays at the same time for the game. And again, the gold plate that I was talking about is down by 50, so that's like at least 100 from just the Herald Crash if you get 2 plates. So that's 200 gold off from Herald overall. I mean, they nerfed almost every keystone this patch, right? The AD per stack on Conk, the AP per stack, obviously lethal tempo, attack speed per stack nerfed, range nerfed as well. Electrocute is kind of weak now. Because look, 40% bonus AD to 10, like they completely nerfed this. Like this feels really weird to play, I think, on most champs. Dark Harvest though, I mean, again, the ratio from 25 to 10, but it's not as bad as Electrocute from 40 to 10, right? So you can kind of go Dark Harvest a bit more in some games on AD champs. Comet got buffed, but nobody really plays Comet on jungle. They nerfed the bonus AD and AD ratio, so I honestly that didn't. It's just the base damage that got buffed, but they nerfed this as well. Yeah, I mean, there's a bunch of nerfs to the bonus ratios, but they buffed the damage. First strike is only 1%, so it's still fine. PTA is kind of weaker now, but that's mostly the end of the patch here. Like, you know, but this is why there's a shift in win rates, right? Rammus is so strong because once you press W and gain bonus armor and MR, then like you could do like over 100 damage, true damage to the camps with pet. That's why he's like pretty good. Phil is just strong because he gets the scale and he's AP. Also, Blighting Jewel, getting a buff is nice. Phil also strives into tanks because tanks can't invade and punish him. That's why his win rate also went up, because the ban matchups that he had, which were AD junglers that would invade him, are way weaker in this patch. Ivern completely ignores the mitigation of the HP changes because you don't one-shot camps, you know, when you mark them. Zac does max HP, doesn't get invaded anymore because he's good into tanks, he gets the scale, Zac's a good scaler. Briar is just a bit weird. Good champion if you can pilot her well, but she's very hit or miss. Evelyn, AD junglers can punish her, same thing, good in solo queue, right? Lilia, max HP, good into tanks. Maokai is a tank, you can build him two ways, doesn't get punished that much. This is whatever, Amumu is just whatever, Nocturne's just good in solo queue, Jarvan is still good because of his items, still playable. Graves, like I said before, goes to got buffed, he's good into tanks, he gets the scale, his clear's a bit better now. I mean, you know, but the patch shifted so much change, like look at the win rates here. If you go down, you have Hecarim at 47, the AD junglers like Bel'Veth and Talon are 47, Rengar is 48, Kha'Zix is 49, and when I played him he did not feel that good. Viego's at 49, but again, Viego's just a reset champion. And then the rest are kind of balanced around 50 because they're just strong, you know, like Wukong got a bit better this patch because his bonus armor from passive helps him clear camps a bit faster with the pet. But again, the patch shifted the win rates significantly. This is like Emerald Plus, but if you go into Master Plus, you'll see some champs are mostly AP. This is just Snowbally when people barely play him, right? There's like no games, but mostly it's just tanks, you know? This is just some games where she can be good, but she gets the skill because, you know, Shyvana. But yeah, this is what happened on this patch. I think if you guys could adapt and start playing tankier champs, it would probably help you and be in your benefit, because I think some champs are clear winners of this patch where, you know, Rammus, Phil, Ivern are pretty good. Zac, I think, is pretty good. Graves is like in a better spot now. Like, I think the champs that are like AD heavy and need to snowball are way weaker because of the AD nerf ratio. You know, like Kindred is still fine, but I feel like the rest, like Kha'Zix is like way weaker. Viego is a bit weaker. You know, Bel'Veth is like weaker, but people need to, I think, play with Emax with her. Hecarim is kind of dead. Like, there's a lot of changes on this patch, and I think we're going to see the win rates also, like, it's starting to stabilize now, right? And if they don't kind of rebuff like what they did and change the bonus AD ratio to scale with the pet, I think this is how the win rates are going to be. So yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.